Being that she only became really prominent in the last 5 years, it would seem that Anya Taylor-Joy might not have enough to her credit to really have a 5 best movies, but of course that would be a seriously flawed idea. She's already shown that she has a great deal to offer on the big screen and has done this with several great performances that have made people well aware of how impressive she is. While a couple of her movies haven't been all that well known or been universally liked by everyone, they're still testaments to how well she can integrate her own act with those that have been established for some time. In other words, she's held her own with some of the best in the business at this point and has made it known that she's a true contender when it comes to taking on big roles that will continue to get her noticed. Here are her 5 best movies. Number 5. Glass.
Can I talk to Dennis or Patricia, please?
Looking at the Rotten Tomatoes site, you can honestly see how the audience and the critics don't tend to get along and agree all the time, since a lot more average viewers enjoyed this movie than critics seem to. The build-up to the movie was actually kind of nice, but the epic confrontation seemed to be just a bit lacking, since quite honestly there were a few very well-developed characters that seemed to need just a slight bit of push to really come through as heroes and villains that could have made a huge difference in the overall world that had been created. In a big way, it seems as though the main characters were a basis for a larger world that were then treated as throwaways. Number 4. Thoroughbreds.
Except I'd spend the rest of my life in jail.
Why are you assuming you get caught?
David Ehrlich of IndieWire seems to imply that this movie is kind of cringe-worthy despite being well done, and he's kind of right, since the whole idea of planning a murder is something that takes a true sociopath that has almost no need or desire for emotion and will do basically anything to move ahead in life. Lily and Amanda don't really get along to begin with in the movie despite their past relationship, but once it's been established as to why Lily did what she did, basically allowing Amanda to take the rap for the murder of her stepfather, it becomes pretty obvious that Lily is the biggest sociopath in the entire movie. Number 3. The New Mutants. Mike Sacchini and Joseph Baxter of Den of Geek are just 2 more among many that have reported on this yet-to-be-released movie, but even they seem to be mildly excited to finally see it come out. You can imagine that fans of the New Mutants from the comic book days are going to be insanely excited to see Anya play the part of Ilyana Rasputin, aka Magic, and will be waiting with a lot of expectation for 2020. The movie so far looks as though it might be interesting, and that's a big reason why it's on this list, since it hasn't dropped yet. But hopefully it won't be delayed again, since it seems as though it should have already been released. Number 2. The Witch.
I am that very witch. When I sleep, my spirit slips away from my body.
This movie was hyped quite a bit, but when it was finally released, it almost seems as though it was quietly and politely pushed to the side while being acknowledged. That seems to speak to the idea that people liked it, but find it kind of a dirty secret that they enjoyed it at all, or were simply too confused by the idea of what was going on. In essence, it seems as though Thomason was being scouted by the coven that she finally joined and tested in various ways that were meant to make sure that she was being groomed in the proper way. Her parents were only needed to keep her safe for long enough to make her ready. That's how it feels, at least. Number 1. Split.
Could you help us, Hedwig?
The moment that the girls are abducted in this movie, in fact the moment that the stranger gets into their car, is when you know that at least a couple of them aren't going to survive. It has a lot to do with who is featured most prominently, who seems to be the target of the many different camera angles when it comes to determining just who will be the focus. Anya's character was without a doubt the only real focus of this movie apart from McAvoy's, since the 2 of them were linked the moment he sat down next to her and kidnapped the 3 women. Everything from that point on was just story and plot being unraveled for the benefit of the audience. While some people thought it was great, others were actually confused, but it was still an interesting movie. She's got a bright future, it would seem.